Good morning everyone, Dan here. Welcome to North Queensland Barbecue and Brewing. Today we're doing this Boston butt, and we're doing it with Matt Anderson's rubs that he makes. So Matt's actually behind the camera right now because our usual cameraman's not here for another couple of hours. So first things first, neither of us have done a butt before. I've done plenty of shoulders with the fat in and bone in, but never the actual butt part, because the butt's lower than the actual shoulder in a pork. In the pig itself. So we wanted to just see, because this has a fairly thick fat cap on it, like we're talking, yeah, a good inch and a half, so 20-30 mil. So we're going to trim that off a bit because we don't need all that fat in the meat. So we took a little bit off before, and we're just going to trim that down a fair bit, just because there's a fair chunk. And I know I shouldn't cut towards me, but I just want to get rid of a fair bit of this because I don't need a big goopy bit of bloody fat on it. And I know from doing pork shoulders, a little bit of pink, that it rubberizes when you're cooking it. Well, not rubberizes, but you end up with this big blob of fat you peel off the meat, and I don't really need that. So there's still a fair bit of intramuscular fat within the meat itself on a pork shoulder, so it should be fine. We'll just get rid of a fair bit of this. I was actually thinking getting rid of it all so we get more smoke penetration. More smoke penetration into the meat, and more rub into the meat as well. We sort of thought we'd try to leave just tiny little bit of amount on, just to add some moisture to it. And we'll see how it goes. Obviously it's a bit of an experiment for us. Mainly see what Matt's rub goes like on a pork butt. I don't think he's done one on a pork butt yet. We usually do more traditional sort of roasts with this. So yeah, we'll just trim that up. I'll come back in a couple of minutes once I've finished trimming this and I'm happy with it. And we've got an injection there we're going to put in, and I'll go through that injection I made last night, and then we'll go through this pork. Okay, so we've trimmed this down, and we've trimmed it down to about 3 to 4 mil of fat, exposed some of the meat in some of the places there. So there was actually a fair bit of fat that came off that, and that was all pure fat, and it was proper thick. So by getting rid of that, we should allow this bit of fat to render nicely, crispy up, not so much crispy up, but allow a bit more flavour into the meat and parts as well. So I add that into my pan here, and what I've got here, I made this injection last night, and it's fairly similar if you've ever watched any videos of Rodney Scott's vinegar sauce. It's fairly similar to that. This is just literally a cup of vinegar, half a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of the SPG, 2 tablespoons of Frank's hot sauce, and a little bit of beef injection, actually from a beef injector that we used in a competition a few weeks ago. So we'll see how this goes. I do like this on pork ribs, so I'm going to see how it goes as an injection. It should actually be fairly nice. Oh, and sorry, I did put not cranberry juice. I put some juice in here as well, and some lime. I put about 100 ml of juice in there as well. I'll get back to you on the juice. It's one of Louise's juices. So we'll just go in and inject this in here. Just pull that out as we go. You can feel it starting to pump up. And we're just going to give that about an hour just to soak in some of that and get some flavour into the meat. We'll let it sit in the fridge. We've got to get the smoker up to temperature as well, so this will just actually add a bit of zingness to this, because pork shoulder, there's a bone, I've had before, and I often find it to be a real bland piece of meat. So by doing this, you're actually going to add a heap of flavour into the actual inside, and we'll rely fairly heavily on the rubs as well, which are both spicy. So injecting is fairly simple. You can feel it, and you'll see it pump up. But yeah, we'll come back now. We'll let this rest in the fridge for about an hour. And then we'll come back and we'll season this up. We've got some SPG and we've got Matt's rub to throw on this. Okay, so we're back, and we've had this marinating for about an hour in that injection that I made up for it. So we'll get rid of that and place that on there. So I'm joined again by Matt from the Scorching Chilli Company, and he's made this rub here, this pigs and wings. So I'm going to just go into putting the rubs on this, and basically what I'm doing is my first rub is going to be the SPG from the Carnival Candy Store, which is made locally here in Townsville by Riverway Meat. So I'm going to give it a good coat with that, because this is our salt and pepper based and a few other things, and with big chunk of meat like this will barely touch the sides, but it helps just get some salt and pepper into that meat. And I actually have used this and I really like it. So while I'm going on with this, I'll put this on, then I'll put on that. I'll let Matt just quickly explain this rub here and what's gone into this one.
Okay, so this is the pigs and wings. It's pork, chicken, fish, and great on roast potatoes as well. It's 3 types of chilies. We have a really smoky chili, and we have a sweet chili, and we have a mild chili in there. It is a Texas style sort of chili rub, so it does have salt and pepper, garlic, but we use our infused chili salts as the salt seasoning, and we use pepper, garlic, a little bit of onion as well. But yeah, the 3 types of chilies give that really nice smoky, earthy flavour. It's not super hot, it's quite mild. The 3 chilies we use are mild chilies, so packed full of flavour. You can really smell the spices in there as well, and that added bonus of the chili salt in there as the seasoning really brings it along. So yeah, it is quite mild. It will get a little bit of spice in it, but it still should be fine for the family. All our rubs are mild side, so you're not going to blow your family's head off with it. It just gives you that flavour and a little bit of warmth.
We've used this heaps. This is one of our go-to rubs that Matt makes. We used it on the chicken wing video we did, the rotisserie chicken wing video. This was the rub we used in that. Louise actually just puts this on to chicken wings and we barbecue them, and they're actually really good. So this is just your good all-rounder that we use that Matt's making. So it should give this a really nice colour, and I want to get a fair bit of flavour into this. Like I said, I find pork shoulder really bland. So by putting all this flavour in, the salt, pepper, garlic, the injection, we should get some good flavour into this when we pull it later on this afternoon, because that's what this is going to be. This will be pulled pork. I know watching a lot of videos, you've got your money muscle and different parts. That's something I've actually got to learn with this particular cut of meat, as it's not one that I've done actually before. So we'll see how this goes. But that's got plenty of rub on there now and plenty of flavour. So we're going to throw this straight in here down the end. I've got this smoker at 150 degrees already, so I'm fairly happy with that. Matt, what do you think?
Yep, good nice coating on it.
Don't want to waste all this good rub. So yeah, we'll get this straight in. And once again, I'll place this down this far end here away from the firebox. All that fat that I took off here is rendering down, so we can get some rendered down fat out, and we'll just place it in there like that. So we'll uncover this probably in about, we won't, uncover it. We'll probably cover this, wrap it in about 4 or 5 hours. It should take about 8 hours to 9 hours to cook this in total, and then an hour rest period. But we'll see how it goes. Once again, it's a bit different than what we've usually cooked, so we'll come back and we'll have a look at that, probably about 4 or 5 hours. Right, so we've now been cooking this for about 6.5, 7 hours. It's a bigger piece of pork than I sort of assumed, so it's taken a bit longer. But anyway, we're ready to wrap this. So we've got that there right now, and that's the bark that we formed on that the last 6 hours or so. Looking really dark. If you come in around this side here, you'll notice that all the fat's starting to pool, and that liquid coming out of the fat's rendering down and starting to come out. So that was about 67.5, 68 degrees before. I'd like to wrap it at about 72, but because of the colour of the bark and how that's formed, and we want to get this moving on a bit more, we're going to wrap it now. So I'll just get this off. We'll probably need Matt for a hand here. And we'll just get this off onto this cutting board here. I just want to be gentle with it, because I don't want to knock any of that rub off if I can help it. There we go. This is probably still 3.7, 3.8 kilos of meat here after we've rendered it down and cooked it, so it's quite a substantial chunk. So we're going to wrap this in aluminium, and one of the big reasons we're doing that is because a lot of the juices, a lot of the fats and oils that come out of this meat are going to pool in the aluminium. We're not going to lose it like we would if we were using butcher's paper, where it can leach through and leach out. And at the very end of the cook, especially with that injection, keeping all that stuff in there is going to be great. We can put it down the bottom of the pan, mix the pulled pork all through it, and we'll get that moisture retained in the meat. We're still going to rest this for probably an hour, but for now, what we'll do is we're just going to get that onto here and get this wrapped. So hot. There we go. Oh, there we go. So we'll get this wrapped up and we'll give it a couple of layers. While I'm doing this, Matt just wants to say a word or two about the rubs he makes, and I'll get on with this so we're not wasting too much time.
Yeah, so just wanted to let everyone know that our rubs are preservative free. There's no additives, there's no fillers in them. It's pure just chili and spice, 100% chilies and spice. So you're not going to get ripped off the fillers. You may pay a little bit extra, but you're paying for the quality. These chilies are hand grown. We grow all our chilies at home. We smoke them all at home and turn them into our wonderful products. So we're doing pigs and wings today. We've done the gunpowder before, which is a coffee-based rub. We have a bull dust, which is mainly for red meat. That's there, and we do a chili spice mix that you can use in cooking, like taco seasoning, and in dishes, but also a phenomenal rub for seafood, so on fish. Wax them on that and in the barbecue, and it's absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, feel free to have a look at our website. But yeah, preservatives, no fillers, no additives, just pure plain chili and spice. What you see is what you get.
Everything nice. As I said. Yeah, so anyway, we've got that back in there now, so we'll give that another, hopefully 4 to 5 hours. It should be right to go. You want it to be about 92 to 93 degrees internal before it pulls. So that's the temperature we're aiming to hit. And we'll come back when it's at that, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. But yeah, we'll come back when it's at 92, 93, and we'll get it out and rest it. So we're back now, and we've just pried this meat. We're hitting about 92 to 93 degrees in places. So we're just going to remove it. And she's got a fair bit of juice coming out the bottom and coming out through there. So we'll get that off the smoker. We'll place that on the board. Trying to lose that juice. We'll get that juice and we'll put it all in here. The pan should catch that, so that should be fine. So we're going to leave this out now for about 20 to 25 minutes just to cool down a bit in the open air. This should still retain a fair bit of heat through the alfoil. Then we're going to move it into the esky over there. So we'll put it in the esky for another 45 minutes to an hour, let it rest, let all those juices just soak back into the meat. And then we'll come and pull it, and hopefully it'll be right.
Papa, don't preach.
Hi everyone, welcome back.
Are we going to grow with this?
No.
Okay.
Giggles first. This is awesome. Okay, so we've cooked this for 9 hours, and then we rested it for 2, and we're about to unwrap it. And I'm really interested to see what this is like, because it smells good. We've tasted a bit of the stock coming out of that, and there's a lot more coming out now, and it tastes amazing. So we've given it 90-minute rest time, so hopefully it should be pull apart tender. I'm hoping anyway. I'll just get that out into the liquid.
Well, that's a good sign.
So yeah, there we go. Now, let that drip off. We'll see how this pulls. Hopefully with the bone coming like that. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, proper nice. Hopefully with that bone coming out like that, this should just start to do what it's doing.
Amazing.
So, yeah, and that's literally just me pushing it with the tongs, pulling apart. I wish I had some gloves, I could do it properly, you know, those black gloves like the Americans wear, but you get that. So what we'll do is we'll just pull this like this, and we're going to mix all that liquid that's come out of that back into that meat. So there's probably a bit of fat or something there that's I can pull the meat from. You get some of these big veins of fat that run through it, that's alright, we'll pull the meat from that and try that separately. But that's not looking too bad, and that will shred more. So we can end up with sort of your shredded pork like this here, which we'll just pull right apart, as you can see. Shredding nicely. And it's juicy, there's fat in that, so yeah, I'll try that just by itself before I dip some in some liquid. That's good.
Yeah, outstanding.
It's actually I've struggled with pulled pork because I always find people inject it with like fruit juices and stuff, and to me it's too fruity. It's not savoury enough. This is savoury. Like there's salt, there's just pepper, there's everything in that meat. You can eat that just like that, and that's gorgeous.
And you'll find the rubs, the chili rubs, the heat disappears, and because we use the three, the sweet, the smoked, and the mild chilies, it turns into more of a sweet flavour, and yeah, you don't get the bite too much. You just get that nice little sweet flavour that moulds together and gives a real bunch of fruity sort of savoury flavours, which is really nice.
And we've injected this as well. So we injected this with that vinegar-based mopping sauce that I had turned into an injection. I'll put the recipe for that down below. In the comments section. But yeah, this is good. And this is now I'm mixing this in with those juices that are coming out. So this here is just going to be even more full of flavour. Grab a good chunk of it, bugger it. That's amazing.
It's amazing.
So yeah, that's a way of doing the old Boston pork butt, which is our first.
Yep.
We've never done one before. This is amazing. Proper good. Actually, I'd recommend this over a shoulder any day. But that's how we do it in the offset smoker, using Matt's rub. So until next time, guys, take care.
See you later, guys.